Men with touchy-feely dads will probably turn out touchy-feely themselves. That's true.
Welcome back to the last part of this morning's show with Radio 2's Russell Kane, Jane Moore and Anton Dubeck. We're asking for your thoughts on touchy-feely fellas, blokes who just can't keep their hands to themselves. 0207 173 5555 is the number for your calls. I'm not talking, just so we're clear here, about randy Andys with roving handies. I'm talking instead about those chaps who just aren't inhibited about invading another person's personal space. Invading is a bit strong. Fellas will happily throw an arm around you, touch your hand maybe, as you're chatting. Most North Europeans, this is Desmond Morris stuff actually, most North Europeans prefer to keep an arm's length away from another. It's half an arm for our Mediterranean cousins. And I'd class touchy-feely fellas as those who kind of break that convention. And it's funny, I think, that so many of us assume that touchy-feely fellas are camp or gay. Why is that, I wonder? In a moment, your calls, but first, I want you to see a touchy-feely fella in action, because we secretly filmed Anton after Tuesday's show. Have a look at this, right? So at no point has anybody in the audience asked Anton to go over, all right? This is Anton of his own accord. The show's over there, touching, kissing, feeling. Look, there's some chap in there. He wants to get in on the action as well. Oh my God, tongues. And he doesn't stop there. He moves on to the back row. This girl doesn't even... He's not even interested. Yeah. Terrified, in fact. Absolutely terrified. Anton saying goodbye to our audience. Now, I think we can safely say, Anton, that you are a touchy-feely fella.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't recognise that, man. It's only love. My parents are both... My mother's Spanish and my father's Hungarian, so I have foreign parents. So I don't mind saying hello and you know... to use the word touching is so sort of seedy and horrible. It's slightly unpleasant, but...
Only if you think of it that way.
Well, there is a thing about space, and what I do for a living, you have to be aware of space, and you have to appreciate space, you have to understand what space is, and you can approach people in certain ways, in an unthreatening way. And the difference between...
That's what I meant. I didn't mean it. I don't mean frisky blokes
No, quite. And I think it's important to understand the difference, really. By the way, you didn't see anybody saying "get off," did you?
No.
Let's just, especially the one on the end.
Yeah, no. He looked like he wanted more.
When you approach, if you were to approach somebody, if I was to approach Jane, and we'd only just met, if I were to approach her from the side, it's not an invasion of space. So if I come into you this way here from the side, like a crab. So if I stand here, you're not invaded by space.
No. If write this down, Russell. This is handy.
Front on, like this.
If you breathe on me.
If I breathe on it. I'm going to use a rude word now, but I'm going to try and sort of smarten it up. If our genitalia face each other...
I beg your pardon.
This is not me making it up and being silly. This is actually a real point. If you face each other front on like this, it's threatening. It's an invasion of space. If I come at you from the side, I can put my arm around you, I can take hold of your hand, we can do any of this sort of thing here. I could even give you a little kiss. And it is non-threatening, you see. I'm not suggesting to her anything.
Why do we associate it with gay people or camp people? Why is that, Jane? Touchy-feely?
I don't actually. No, I don't associate it with that. I associate it totally with how you've been brought up and the kind of family. And it's interesting that Anton's parents are European, because it's very British to not... And I think because
It's changing, though, don't you think?
Well, yeah, because we're becoming a much more multicultural country. We're suddenly faced on a daily basis with people that do invade our space, and I think it's good for us, actually. And as long as you've got good personal hygiene, which Anton does, I'm fine with it. I'm not so keen on people kissing me when... I had somebody the other day who I met at some... And so I'd never met them before, and I sort of went like that to say hello, and they advanced upon me and kissed me, and I'm sort of like, but...
See,
I didn't say that, but I thought...
attack, you see. Now, that is unpleasant.
I always shake women's hand when I meet the first time.
You shake?
I would never kiss... And even
I'm
at the end... I never would.
No.
What, you kiss people you don't even know?
Well, yeah.
You've just met?
Yes.
Really?
I think it's... Again...
You have to be aware of the secret. You have to be aware. So you have to be spatially and physically aware. Some people are, some people aren't. You have to be aware of what the other person's feeling at the moment in time.
I love the idea you choreograph each hug. And then we go and kiss. That was wonderful. Let's try that.
You go in there and you can sense that
So Russell, so you meet a woman, say a woman of a certain age for the first time. You're in showbiz and you'd shake her hand. You wouldn't.
No, not a woman of a certain age. Any female really.
You would
I make exceptions with like my young cousins and pets and stuff. I'll give them a kiss. But do you know what? It's a class class thing. I appreciate what you're saying about multicultural, but if you grew up white, working-class male with a shaven-headed, hard-nut dad, you're not good at physical contact. And that's how I grew up, you know. It terrifies me. I'm so glad we're restrained by the length of our sound leads, Anton.
You're uncomfortable with it?
Yeah, I hate it. I've almost got a touch phobia, you know, and if you go to a wedding, and my worst, where you have to kiss everyone in a line, and you get one wrong and you snog the nan on the lips, you're like, no! You just smell her Werther's Originals and pass out. I really am. I really feel strong. And the worst thing is, my fiancée, Sadie, I don't mind if someone kisses me, I don't show it, I can keep it in, but then she tells people, oh, he's got a bit of a touch thing, and then everyone's conscious about it, and then I feel worse about it.
Let's hold hands.
I'm suing.
That's all right,
I'm pretty right about this. I'm going to do a story on it.
It's touch therapy.
It's horrible.
Touch therapy.
No, but you know...
South End, you say?
Oh, had a real showbiz moment.
Does that bother you?
Yeah,
that bothers you a lot.
That wasn't my leg.
What about if I come down the side? Is that less threatening?
Back after this ad break.
Let's throw it home to you. Touchy-feely fellas, what do we think about them, Amy? What do you think about them? He keeps trying to get in your booth.
He's so right, though. He's like that. No, he's so right, though. I didn't even notice until you'd said the way you've approached me all week. I haven't found it a problem. But if certain men approach me in a different manner,
He's been approaching you all week, has he?
well, you know, yeah. No.
It's taken
No,
4
it's
days,
just
but
fine.
she's succumbed, don't
It's
worry.
just the way that you are, and I've not found it threatening at all. But
Okay.
with certain men, you just no.
Just the way that you are, and I've not found it threatening at all. I'd just like to highlight what she said.
Good. Let's get to the dog and bone.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got Christine on line 1.
Christine, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Touchy-feely fellas, do you like them?
I got no choice. I married one.
Well, you choose to marry him, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
So you must like them.
Yes.
Right, so why I get there's a sort of a hint of resentment coming through on the phone, Christine.
It's not resentment as such. It's he has always been, as far as I've known him, touchy-feely, but it sounds awful towards men and women.
Yeah, that's not awful. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, constant, you know, if he greets somebody the same, you put his arm around you, or, you know, it's things like that. But I have had occasions where I've had to tell him to back off because you could see the other person feeling a bit uncomfortable about it.
That's just being aware. I think there's a level of inappropriateness that you have to be aware of. As
Do you kiss strangers on the cheek?
yeah, yes. But again, it's that level of appropriateness that is comfortable for someone.
Yeah.
And it's a natural thing. If it's not natural, don't do it. If you can feel it's an unnatural moment or something that's uncomfortable for somebody, never make anybody feel uncomfortable just because you want to have a kiss.
Okay.
Never do anything that's uncomfortable for the other person. It's always very important to be aware of the other person's comfort.
Or it will end up in court.
Christine, thank you for that. We'll get one more in for the
We've now got Lucy from Cornwall on line 2.
Lucy from Cornwall, good morning.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi there. I'm being told you hate touchy-feely men.
No, I don't like it at all. I find it really inappropriate. But then in the same sentence, I'm quite touchy-feely myself.
Oh, come on, you can't have... You are a woman, you can have it both ways. I forgot. So you hate touchy-feely men, but you're touchy-feely yourself?
But then, it depends. If someone's talking to you...
Yeah.
And you've gotten to know them a little bit first, and then there's a little bit of touching, then it's okay. But if I don't know someone and they come up and... I've had cases in clubs where guys come up and they'll dance right up their crotch against your arse and... Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I never heard anything, Lucy. OK. I'm going to have to...
And I've nearly got in fights anyway, so...
But I genuinely, I am now... I've ended up feeling really lousy about this, and I'm going to have to think about my my inappropriate kisses along with Anton. That'll get my mum talking. And that is your lot for the day, I'm afraid. I hope you enjoyed the show. We certainly enjoyed all your calls today, and my thanks to Russell, Jane and Anton for sharing all the fun. Most of all, though, thank you for watching. Give it up for that panel, ladies. Come on. Nice one.